So we spoke, and so we spoke. That loader cast to me.
I said we weren't dead. I said we were alive and kicking. They begged us to return. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. The lion in the rose, breakers of the chains, sword of the Lord, war of 5 kings, lords of the rock, sitting on an iron throne, betrayal, revenge, murder now his mind's gone. The trial about to happen, he smiled while he cracking, for real, cause he ready for that action. Rich, wealthy, and sinister. Welcome to the house of the Lannisters.
Yeah, we're back. And to be fair, with a minimum amount of fanfare. I mean, seriously, it's like we've not even been away. I mean, as soon as we said we were coming back, the Conningtons came back, the Targs came back, and of course the Starks came back. And within 24 hours, the forums were awash with complaints in regards to Lannisters. Honestly, seeing this much hate geared towards me and my faction members makes me feel oddly nostalgic. So yeah, welcome back to the greatest social experiment of all time. What happens when you put 200 people into an environment together? Eventually they form groups, and they band together, and they harass other people. You know, actually, yeah, Persistent World is not a medieval simulator. It is a prison yard simulator. You can be a commoner, you can be on your own, but you will be attacked by the largest sexual predator in the yard. Of course, you can join a gang, and become protected by the gang, but then you're subject to attacks from the other gangs. So yeah, I don't know what more I can say besides, welcome back to PW. And on that note, I should probably explain where I've been. I know a few people have been asking. After the Lannisters disbanded, as I said, I went and joined the 91st. Was in that for about 3-4 months. Got tired of it, you know. Played enough NW to last a lifetime. Then I just left all clans alone for a bit. Played RuneScape, kicked gnome children to death. Hilarious. And then I actually came back and joined the Lorraines. And I was in the Lorraines about 2 to 3 weeks before the Lannisters came back. Weird. So yeah, I rejoined them as Archmaester, and then a week in, I got bored of that. Yeah, I'm not Doctor anymore. Deal with it. I'm Lord fucking Qyburn's son. I'll do whatever the hell I want. So, I'm no longer a member of the civilian branch. Not that much has changed, because it's not like anybody else is going to do all that surfing bollocks. I mean, the moment the castles are out of any kind of substance, everybody loses their fucking mind. This, what you're watching right now, will forever be known in the Lannisters as the Bread Riots, where everybody, including the king, went utterly batshit over half a cart of bread. It was hilarious, though. So, okay, maybe now I get to do other things in-game besides stabbing people lethargically in the face. On the contrary, now I actually get to do it rather emphatically, with Morningstars. And yeah, I know this makes me considerably less endearing. I'm not just some peevish little doctor. Now I'm a Kerbuli-clad Morningstar-wielding Lannister lord. I am the object of all your hates. I mean, we've been back like 2 months. That's the reason I've held off making videos for so long. It's because of the abuse. But I think things have calmed down recently. I've never seen PW this civil. I mean it. It's amazing. Not in terms of action, mind you. There's been as much action as ever. In fact, there's been quite a lot of action. So yes, let's move on to war. And I think I've come up with a better way of how to show you these wars. You see, rather than showing you, like, one battle, because, you know, battles are ultimately decided within about 2 minutes. You know, there's a main clash and, like, one side emerges, one dominates the other. You know, simple as that. So I figure, what I'll do, I will get multiple battles with the same faction, and I will combine them into a single campaign. This first one, however, I'm going to refer to it as a crusade. Why? Because then we have a legitimate reason to go to war. So I ask, why are we going to war? And the Templars say,
God wills it!
how Sterk, the old enemy. No less deadly, no less numerous, and of course no less squeaky. The following battle took place on Stormlands. The Lannisters occupied Avalon, while the Starks occupied Saltclippin and Hakon. The Starks were using Hakon as their main base of operations, and we decided to make our move on it. We would need a closer spawn. We moved to take Saltclippin. The bulk of their forces were stationed in Hacker, and subsequently, we were allowed to take it without resistance. Now having a closer spawn, we were allowed to take the fight to House Sterk, and the rest would be decided before the walls of Hacker. I mucked up my spawn. The Lannisters still fought on in my absence, but the abundance of crossbows and new spawns could not be contained. Subsequently, the assault was lost. We proceeded to blockade the Starks, but to no conclusion. Subsequently, a retreat was forced. But we ain't done there, son. I mean, I said I'd do a few battles. I mean, you keep up. Yeah, can't be as informative on this one because I'm not privy to the Stark battle plans. They started from wherever, went around in a circle, went around a few more circles, went across, up, and eventually they came into Avalon. Yeah. Thanks to the efforts of the brave few who held the Mudgate, by the time I returned to battle for the third time, the enemy were routing. The conclusion was a crushing and decisive victory for House Lannister. Next! Now for the final push. The following battle took place on Game of Thrones. In this conflict, the Conningtons occupied Shariz, the Starks occupied Mount Hellstone, and House Lannister occupied Montebell. The plan was to attack the Starks at Mount Hellstone, but first the Conningtons would have to be dealt with, as they had the capacity to cut us off. So they were. Then we attacked the Starks. Fucking easy, son. There's no one on the banner point. It was a bit anticlimactic. Well, I made the thing, so we're doing the thing.
They come for our blood, but drown in their own.
You know that font, that Game of Thrones font, is lovely, but the punctuation is shit. Seriously, just rewind and look at that comma. My god. I just wanted to say something while I'm here, which is that while making this, it felt good, and I intend to make more, but don't expect 20 episodes. It's not that simple anymore. And, I am sorry that, I haven't responded to many people, on comments or on Steam messages, and, just generally been quite aloof in regards to my future on here, just because I didn't want to give people false hope if I was never going to come back.
Also, I didn't want to commit to anything, you know, so... Yeah, but I got one more thing for you. When I joined the Lorraines a while back, I had this idea, this notion that I was going to start YouTubing again immediately. So I started making this kind of prologue to explain why I was no longer in the Lannisters, if it was, you know, in a kind of lore-friendly fashion. And although I never finished it, I got about a third of it done. I'd be remiss if nobody ever saw it, so I'm just going to chuck that in here. Enjoy.
Let me tell you the story of Tywin Lannister's Archmaester, Jampad. Once upon a time, Jampad was nothing but a dirty peasant, unfit even to clean septic tanks. After all, what is a low-born piece of scum to do when he cannot fight for his own? One day, a man of diminutive stature came to him and granted him 3,500 ducats, with the clause that he put it towards his future. Jampad thought long and hard about what his profession would be. Guard? Bard? Farm? And in the end, he forwent all of these choices, and squandered the money on whores, but only after one night of rucking in the brothel. He found himself poor and flaccid once again, so he stole some gold from a lord's money chest and trained to be a doctor. It was a long and arduous process that would have taken a lot less time had it not been for some complete bastard who kept running in the way and interrupting the process. You know who you are, don't try to deny it. But he was allowed to practice his profession in a time of peace, and although he had a good doctor's practice with some decent male escort work on the side, some part of him wished for something more.